Crystal, and I'm back with another layout for Hip Kit Club. This time I'm doing a Traveler's Notebook spread. So I have the Traveler's Notebook I'm currently working in, and I have a couple pictures. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use just yet. I also have what's left of my April kit. This is a main kit only layout, so I have what I have left of my main kit from April. I'm working ahead a little bit because I will be out of town for a couple weeks, so I don't have my May kit just yet. So I'm working in April. But I think this is going to work out just fine. So my plan is to use a lot of the die cuts. I haven't used much from the die cut pack, and I'd like to get some of those used. And I really want to use this paper. This is paper number 4 from Horizon, pink paisley, designed by Paige Evans. I haven't used either sheet, so I definitely want to get some of this used as well. So that's all I know. I'm just going to play around and see what happens. So because I knew that I wanted to use a lot of the die cuts, I start by going through them and figuring out if there's any that I know for sure that I want to use. And as I was just kind of laying them down on the page, they were in kind of a cascading line, I guess, on the left side of my page, and I eventually decided to just go with that and create a vertical line of embellishments down the left side of the page, and then my title is going to sit vertically as well. So that adventure chipboard piece is going to be part of my title, and it's going to sit right there where it is. And then I'm just going to add a bunch of other embellishments to this kind of cascading line on the left hand side. And then behind my photo, I'll use some of those tags that were from the ephemera pack and layer those behind the photo. And then I have that little banner at the bottom. That's pretty much going to stay there as well, although obviously more lined up with my photo than it is right now. But right now I'm just playing around with all of the embellishments and getting a good balance of color and making sure that there are both chipboard and die cuts in all parts of the page. Working in a traveler's notebook is so much faster than working on a 12 by 12 sheet. It's so much smaller, and it just comes together so much more quickly. So you'll see that it does come together very quickly. Since I have those tags that I plan to use behind my photo, I decided to add another one of these embellished tags or layered tags from Horizon, also as part of the main kit. And I just took the embellishments off of it because I wanted it behind my photo and I knew that wasn't going to work. And I will end up using those on the left side of my spread, so they won't go to waste. So this is pretty much how the spread is going to look. I don't have things perfectly lined up and nothing's adhered down, but this is the way it's going to stay. So I'm just placing those die cuts I removed from the tag over on the left side. And like I said, I want to use this paper number 4. So I was looking at it, trying to find something from it that I could use. So eventually I find a phrase or a word to add to my title, but first I'm going to work on some layers behind my photo. So it's looking just a little bit empty on the right hand side, and I feel like I need something to draw more attention to my photo, so I'm going to go through my scraps and find some papers to layer behind it. So I have that dark blue paper, which isn't quite big enough, but I'll make it work. I'm going to piece it together and make it work as a layer behind my photo. And then I have this kind of lighter periwinkle blue paper as well. So that, along with the paper number 4, the pink side, are going to be my photo layers, or actually the mat for my photo, that is. So I'm just going to start adhering things down and trimming. I'm not thinking about it too hard, I guess. One thing that I normally do is kind of make some wonky layers, and I don't normally like things to be too lined up and straight, but on a page this small I felt like it really needed something to ground it. Since everything on the left hand side is kind of chaotic, I felt like something a bit more straight and even would make the whole thing feel a little less chaotic. So I'm going to just add these 3 layers, very straight, very normal. I wanted to say normal, but I don't know that there is anything that's normal, but I think you get the idea. So I'm just piecing this together to make it look like one solid piece of dark blue behind my photo, and then trimming it around the other layer that I already have there. All 3 are just going to be pretty thin layers. Since it's a small page, there isn't a lot of room to add a bunch of layers to the photo. So keeping the border pretty thin, but I wanted to be able to see all 3 colors. So now that I have that done, I can look at the other side of this page and find a word to use. I'm going to end up cutting the word travel, and I'm just going to fussy cut that here in a second. And I don't make you watch the whole process of fussy cutting, but I will say it was very easy to fussy cut. There's lots of white space around these words, so I didn't have to worry about getting too close and having to cut something else out of the way. It was just very simple to fussy cut that word, and you could get quite a few titles out of that paper if you were willing to sit and fussy cut that whole thing. So something to keep in mind for the future, and they're a great size for Traveler's Notebook spreads as well. So now that I have everything kind of in place, I'm ready to start gluing everything down. I do use some liquid adhesive. This is some Scotch Quick Dry adhesive or tacky adhesive in a fine line bottle, and that's just because it's a traveler's notebook and there aren't any pockets, so if something were to come loose, it would be lost forever. So I want things to be well stuck, so especially on the chipboard pieces, and even on some of the ephemera pieces, just the cardstock ephemera pieces, I'm going to go ahead and add liquid glue to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. I do use some just tape runner as well, as you can see there. It generally does a good job of adhering just cardstock pieces pretty well. So I'm just arranging things, making sure that I like the way that they look now that they're in their final resting place, I guess. And again, adding some liquid glue behind the chipboard pieces. So as I was creating this, I wanted it to have a nice flow down the page. I also wanted there to be a good balance of color. It bothered me a little bit that I had those 2 pink pieces at the bottom of the page, but I also felt like they work really well kind of as one pink element, and once I have the tag behind my photo in place as well, it'll work kind of like a visual triangle. There's almost a visual triangle of green as well, so I felt like it worked. It wasn't perfect, but I couldn't really find anything else to use in that spot, and I did like the way that it looked, so I just went with it. Again, there are no rules. You don't have to follow exact rules anytime. You can just do whatever looks good to your eye or whatever feels good for the page in the moment. So I've cut down a couple of those tags just to make them fit behind my photo, and that way I also have little pieces I can use on other pages, or I end up using actually some of them on this page as well. So I'm adhering the other things down now. I have that banner piece that was from the ephemera pack, and then another little banner piece from the chipboard thickers. I just layered those up. They worked really well layered on top of each other, so I liked the way that looked. And then I'm going to add just a little heart there at the bottom. Next I grabbed the Chamel enamel embellishments. So they're not all dots. I wanted to say dots, but some of them are hearts and stars. So they're enamel pieces. I used 3 of the purple ones on the left hand side, and I end up using one little teal one next to the heart on the bottom of the right hand side, and that's pretty much going to be it for this page. It came together really easily. Like I said, it was a very simple page. I do some journaling off camera, but you'll be able to see that in the close-ups coming up. So I hope you enjoyed this process, and if you don't normally do Traveler's Notebook layouts, I hope you'll give one a try. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all back here soon, and don't forget to check out the links to the Hip Kit Club products that I used in this page in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.